Hey, what's up, guys? It's been around a week since Chapter 3 has been released, and as you can probably tell, it's definitely going to be a spray meta. So to get everyone prepared for the upcoming tournaments, I've put together an aim training routine to make sure you can take advantage of this new meta. So the main part we'll be focusing on is tracking. Now this routine has two different parts to it: in-game training, which consists of 1v1 aim duels and aim maps, and a Kovaaks routine that I put together myself. Now, if you don't know what Kovaaks is, it's a third-party aim trainer that you can buy on Steam. It's only like $25, and I'd highly recommend buying it if you haven't already. If you can't buy it, it's not that big of a problem. You can just do the aim duels and the aim training in-game. You'll just have to do it a little bit more. So for anyone who doesn't know what Kovaaks is, it's a aim training game where people make maps, and then you compete on those maps, and then after you're done, you get put on a leaderboard like this. So you can use it to track how well you're doing, how you're improving, and stuff like that. So I've put together a custom playlist for Chapter 3 tracking. I just put a whole bunch of tracking maps that I think would help improve your aim, definitely for this meta. For anyone who doesn't know how to import a custom playlist, you just have to go into online playlists here at the top, enter share code, paste the share code that I'll put in the description, hit search. And then once that's in, it should be in your online playlist, and then you hit download here, and it should be in your local playlist. So I've put together around 6 different maps. Some of them you have to play multiple times. It should come out to around 15 minutes. You can definitely fit this in at the start of your warm-up routine. So every single map kind of does something different. So for the IC long strafes, this is more of your mid-range, SMG, AR, and then other maps do different kind of stuff, like ascended tracking here. This one's more long range, mid range, and close range. So the bots kind of teleport. You can kind of see there's back bots here, mid range here, and then close range here. So for this map here, Wreck Strafes, this is more of your kind of close up, where the guy's kind of trying to strafe around. This one's a little bit harder. In this map here, Humanoid Strafe, this one's a really good one. This one's the most realistic one I've probably seen. This will definitely help with jumping in a box and having a SMG spray. So the cool thing about Kovaaks is you don't have to use someone else's playlist. You can go into the online scenarios and search ones that you like. You can experiment with some. You can find non-tracking maps like this one wall, 6 targets. I'll play this one. This one's more of your click timing. They're a little bit smaller, so you have to focus on being precise. But after you found a map that you like, you just hit the plus button here, and then you just put it into the playlist. So you can put it into just a new playlist here, then it adds it. So Kovaaks right now is $10 on Steam. You don't have to buy it. I'd highly recommend it, but you can just get away with doing the in-game creative aim maps. They do just as well, but I just prefer this a little bit better because there's more customizability. So after you've done this whole playlist, I recommend getting out of Kovaaks and starting to go into the creative 1v1 aim duels and the aim trainers. So after you're somewhat warmed up after your Kovaaks routine, I'd recommend 2 different maps: Raiders 1v1 aim trainer and Raiders solo aim training. So we'll start with the solo aim training, just get your Fortnite aim warmed up. So I'll make sure to put the code on the screen right now. If you guys don't want to get it there, I'll also put it in the description. This map has a whole bunch of different scenarios that you could do by yourself. Ones that I really like are Pump 360, bounce click timing, some of the tracking ones. Tracking is really important this season, especially with SMG and the MKAR. So I'd recommend doing a little bit more tracking than shotgun and click timing right now. So a really good one here is bounce tracking. So what you do here is you just bounce around and try and keep your crosshair as close to the purple dot as possible. Once you feel comfortable with aiming, I'd recommend trying to move around a bit so it's a little bit more challenging, like this. Start strafing left to right. Just a reminder, this map is in early access, so there will be some sort of bugs. Even though tracking is probably the most important type of aim you need right now, practicing your shotgun and click timing is also going to be really good. A map that I recommend is the Pump 361 here. You spawn in and you need to try and shoot these yellow dots here. So you get about a minute in each scenario. You can kind of see at the top, it has the timer counting up. And after the minute's over, it'll just teleport you back to the main lobby. So if you have extra time on your hands, I definitely recommend trying out all the different kinds, experimenting, seeing which ones you like, which ones work for you, and then just adding them into your own routine. So after you're done warming up in here, we're just going to go back to the hub. And then we're going to start with the 1v1 aim trainers. So I'd personally recommend getting a friend. It's a lot easier because you can tell them what scenarios you want to do, what you want to practice. You can still do the matchmaking. It's just a little bit hard to communicate with the other player. So like I said earlier, it's a lot easier with a friend. So I brought my friend Boria here to help us out. All right, so once you get in the game, you kind of get an option between 4 different health. I'd recommend 4,000. It's not too long, it's not too quick. It's like the perfect in between. So once you pick your health, you get to choose between 5 different categories of duels. So you got the regular box fight duels, SMG tracking, shotgun/flick, classic aim duels, and then glider tracking. 3 ones that I'd recommend: SMG tracking, shotgun flick, and glider tracking. I'd recommend doing a little bit more tracking and glider tracking than the shotgun right now, just because the meta is basically all tracking. One of the best ones in my opinion is 1v1 cone react. So we'll hit this here. And then we're presented with a bunch of guns. I just recommend the new Stinger SMG. Just get used to it. And then all you gotta do is hit start here. So when you're dueling, obviously your #1 goal is to track your opponent, but while you're tracking, try to implement strafes. It's much harder for your opponent to hit you. Now that we're done with the SMG tracking, we can move on to the shotgun and flick training. We're gonna do the 1v1 cone react just like we did in the tracking. So all we gotta do is shoot it, and then we're teleported straight in. So now we're on to the last one, glider tracking. So the way glider tracking works, so once you select the glider tracking #1, you'll be teleported to a box with a whole bunch of guns. I'd just recommend the MK right now, just because it's probably what you should be taking in games. So all you gotta do is hit start. So what your goal here is to try and get into this red box here. So you're gonna try and strafe around so that your opponent can't really hit you that well. And then once you've reached that red box, you're then teleported to where your opponent is, and the roles are switched. So the roles will keep on being switched until one of the players loses all its health, so it might take a while. If you don't want to do it for that long, you can always just go to your settings here and then hit respawn, and then the round will end. So just like I said before, if you have extra time, I'd recommend experimenting and adding new stuff. Some other good ones is flying react, 1v1 cone react, easy. If you start off with easy first, then move on to react, it might be a little bit better, just in case. With the shotgun, if once you're doing cone react and you start to get really good at it, you can start to move to 1v1 cone react flick. And then same with the glider training. You can just experiment with these 6 here. The glider 1 and 2 are probably the best in my opinion, but some people like different stuff, so you can just experiment and make your own routine. I'd recommend trying to implement it into your daily warm-up routine. It'll definitely help you a lot, especially in an SMG type meta where tracking is the best form of aim. And if this routine doesn't work for you, you can always modify it, add new stuff, take away stuff, and just kind of make it your own. Hope everyone has a great day. See you later.